Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, we are now recording too. Great. So I'm just going to keep on going because it is almost 5 after the hour. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us today. Here we are completing 2020, bringing it to a closure, and most people will go, yay, right? For most people, this was a really challenging year, and for others thrived. Why was that? Why did some people thrive and some people, it was like, man, that's the hardest year ever. But the beautiful thing is that we definitely are bringing this to a closure, and we are beckoning or beginning a new era. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today on our wonderful web podcast, webcom, what do you want to call it, webinar that we have.
Conversations,
there you go. I have, of course, our beautiful, lovely panel with me. I have Barbara Yager, who is many things, but I know her mainly from being an Aztec. Wow. What? Maybe
so.
Akashic records healer, basically. She's going to tell you more about herself. And then we also have Amelia Jordan Lee. Well, I'm really backwards on my words today. Apologize. And she is many things. She is a healer. She helps with astrology. She does an array of things, and she's going to tell you more about herself. And then, of course, we have our lovely Kathaleen Nichols from Maui, and she too is a dimensional healer. So, Barbara, tell us a little bit more about you so everybody can know about what you offer the world.
Sure. Thank you, Wendy. I am an Akashic Records expert, I guess. I love the Akashic Records. I didn't know anything about them 9 or 10 years ago, but after I stopped being a lawyer, I looked to do something and I wanted to coach. I found the Akashic Records. I used them in my life. I learned about me. I learned about who I was at soul level, and I use my gifts every day in what I do. And that's what brings a person joy and happiness in their life, when they really clearly see themselves and they step into that power. So that's what I help people look at and do.
And she's awesome, guys. Amelia, tell us a bit about you.
I thank you for having me, first of all. The question always gets me stumped. I'm a work in progress. So what do? I am a holistic healer. I look at all elements. I'm a holistic nutritionist as well. I look at astrology. I look at energy and mindset, and really help people to take a look at the present and really how they can improve their lives, and what steps that they can practically take to just to live more at peace with themselves and with the world around them, really to be communicating and have compassion and empathy. So that's kind of my love. And my other love is travel, and I am focusing on retreats and also becoming a breathwork practitioner.
Ooh,
so that's my newest thing.
I look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah. So,
thank you. Kathleen, let's hear about your beautiful magic.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. It's so good to be here again and see Barbara and Amelia. It's fantastic for us to gather and have this conversation. So actually, Amelia, I'm a little bit of work in progress too. I'm moving to the next level of really how I'm assisting and supporting people on this planet during this movement and this ascension process. So in effect, I'm just, an ascension way shower, and I'm helping people on the journey of getting back to their original soul mission, to upgrade their blueprint to the moment of now at their highest level of frequency that they can be. And so I'm also working with the Akashic Records and different star systems, and really also the elementals, to bring it in on a very physicalized level to shift that blueprint, that DNA blueprint, and upgrade it and up level to what your highest purpose is. So, and with that, working with the elements as we shift the blueprint. So lots of really yummy stuff as we all are doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Kathleen and I do a lot of work similar. We work together as well. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Wendy Morgan, and I'm a 4th and 5th dimensional channeler. Help people reach consciousness and help them also with the ascension process, just like what Kathleen does. We do things a little different, but nevertheless, we complement each other very, very well. So thank you again for coming on today and listening to us today. Like, again, in case you missed it from the beginning, we're talking about 2020 and having it come to an end and coming to closure. And so we're just going to talk about basically, here in December, we're all so very busy, whether you're involved with the Christmas season or just the holiday, let's say seasons, all that hustle and bustle, or if you're, being taken over by mandates from your particular state, whatever it may be, we're usually very busy in the head. And this month usually goes very, very fast. And one thing that I was finding it very challenging coming on here today and helping you guys out as far as to give you an indication of what's going on, what to expect, how you can make, which is not really what this is about. This basically is about for us to help you to make the best of you, to help your growth so you can be a better person tomorrow and a better person next year. So with that being said, I still said to myself, I really don't know what to talk about, because in truth for me, the energies, while there's some beautiful, soft energies consistently going down, and we're being, downloaded with so much light and so much love, more than you could ever dream of, guys. Sorry, my phone's going off. There we go. And that is actually changing our cellular body. I mean, it literally is changing us from the inside. But it's getting very quiet. And it's what I call coming down to 0 point. Now, 0 point's been talked about from Greg Braden, from Drumble and Melchizedek. What's his last name, Kathleen? I know you were talking about Melchizedek, something in that order. And several other authors out there also talk about 0 point. But there's a lot more going on. And with that, I'm going to let, who wants to do it? Barbara or Amelia? Who wants to go ahead and take the first, start talking about what's going on this month when it comes to, let's go for our alignments. We have a lot of unbelievable alignments going on this month. I mean, not to mention we've got another, a solar eclipse coming up very soon?
Solar eclipse on the 14th leading up, and the solar eclipse is Sagittarius. So that will be very much about personal freedom and expansion, and the darkness that will come with a solar eclipse. So then on the other side of that, the lightness. So I think a lot of where you're coming into play, and I'm excited to learn about 0 point because I don't really know much about it either. But as we were talking before this, it sounded very much parallel as to how we're shifting and moving into the energies of the solstice on the 21st. So we have this spectacular solar eclipse on the 14th, and then on the 21st we have the going into solstice, and we're switching over from the sign of Capricorn into the sign of Aquarius, and that's happening at 0 degree Aquarius.
So I know a lot of people are like, well, yeah, of course, December is Capricorn, and usually January 21st we go into the sign of Aquarius, but that's not what you're talking about.
Correct. Yeah. So this year, the planets of Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct. And what that means is they're right next to each other. And again, like I said, it's happening. The solstice will happen at 0 degrees Aquarius. So if you imagine the planets are kind of next to each other, so they're influencing each other. And, Saturn is all about boundaries and constraints, whereas, Jupiter is expansion and getting bigger. So it's kind of almost like this interesting tug of war that we're going in. That's why we feel so much of this kind of internal struggles and external things happening, is because the old is getting kind of, I don't want to say destroyed, but broken down. And we're looking towards something new, which is that situation with Aquarius. So one of the things that, as we talk more about today, and practically speaking, is we want to really look at, and we've been mentioning this over the past couple of months, but especially this month, it's really going to be an opportunity to go within and answer the question of
guys,
why am
I don't know why, but this was not made public. Let's see if it's working now. But you said, okay, now it's public.
Okay.
All right. So let me kind of give a minute here. I apologize.
That's
I was
okay.
wondering why no one was showing up, and
we could start all over again.
that was so beautifully done though. Well, we can see it on replay. Yeah. But people were starting to text me via
they couldn't see.
They couldn't see. Sorry, guys, a little technical difficulty. It wouldn't be me normal if it wasn't technical difficulties. All right. Yes, on. I wonder if people are. We might have to start this all over again because even John's saying he can't find us. It started off as being a locked. So I don't know if anyone's going to be able to see us. And since you guys are all tagged, that's probably why you can see it with ease.
Right.
Oh, bugger. Okay, John says he's found us. All right, there's John. Okay, so John, you can see us fine now. I know it's going to be a little bit lag time. Heck. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna wait to see because I had like 4 people saying, "Where are you guys?" I know what happened because I went through one of my old feeds and I saw something that was like, oh, I shouldn't have that on there anymore. So I went ahead and locked it. And you know how SafeBook saves that then? Like that's what you want to do from now on. I'm sorry, that was my bad.
All right. All good.
Wendy, it looks like we're there. I'm on my Facebook page and
okay, we're good now. So
good.
Really
yeah,
sorry, guys. We've been talking for about 10 minutes now and I realized that it was locked. It wasn't on public. So I really apologize. So for those of you that just got through watching the replay, so sorry, but we're kind of going to start this all over again because people are just jumping on. So here we are at the end of 2020. We're bringing it to a closure, and that is such a great news for most of us. But for some of us, this has been a great year. It's been a fantastic year for me, and I think I can speak for everybody that's on this panel as well. And why is that? You know, and I think it all comes down to focus is where, you know, we placed our focus. And so it's going to be a theme that I'm going to follow up later on about at the end. But nevertheless, for me, December's energies have been really, really soft. And they're kind of like slowing down to what we call 0 points. So we're kind of touch on that as well. And then also there's a lot of really wonderful, yummy alignments and solar eclipses happening. What exactly does that mean? So basically we're here to tell you, or not tell you, to share with you what we're picking up, what our knowledge shows us, with spirits talking to us about what we're seeing and viewing, not to tell you like predict how to go ahead and, you know, work your December and January, whatnot. No, it's basically so to help you become a better person today, tomorrow, and from there on. So today in my wonderful panel, of course, I've got Barbara Yager again. Thank you so much for joining us. And Amelia Jordan Lee, and of course, my lovely friend, Kathaleen Nichols. So if you are just coming on, please go later on. You can go to the front and you can listen to about what everybody does. I don't want to really take up the time to do that again. But basically, we're all here for you. That is our sole purpose, is to be of service to the collective. And that's, I can say pretty much that's for everybody. And just to be the best possible person that we can be in our heart for you. So with that being said, I'm going to go and start it off again with Barbara, as she's going to kind of lay in the theme for the day, which I think is going to be alignments. Then we're going to go to, or either that or Amelia. I think Amelia actually started out last time, because this is really an exciting year. So thank you everyone for coming, and sorry about this big hiccup. So Amelia, can you want to repeat that again? Sorry
hiccups are just hiccups, no worries. I feel like I get to rehearse now once. No, I'm just kidding. What we were talking about really is this notion of, we do have a solar eclipse on the 14th, and the solar eclipse is going to be a brief time of darkening. So the moon flashes in front of the sun and then it comes back out of the shadows. So what what that is doing is that's, we're getting this glimpse of Sagittarius energy. And Sagittarius is all about freedom and voyages and movement and exploration and philosophy. So that's going to be a little bit of an exploration over the next few days, week or so. And that's opening to me, it's kind of opening our spirits and our souls for what's going to happen on the 21st, which is going to be the winter solstice. And for us in this hemisphere, that will happen on the 21st of December. And we're moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. And what's so special, as we had mentioned before, about this one is that the planets Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct. And what that means is they're next to each other. And when they are next to each other, think of it like they are magnifying each other's personalities, if you will. And Saturn is all about boundaries and structure and rules, if you will, whereas Jupiter is about expansion and growth and exploration. So if you can imagine, they're almost kind of like, they seem a little bit of like a catch-22, but they actually will help to forcibly move us, if you will, into the age of Aquarius. And what's so fascinating about this one that hasn't happened in over 2,000 years, this conjunction, and we are going to be moving in at 0 degrees Aquarius. So what that looks like and what that means is that the qualities of Aquarius, which again are very, I always kind of think of peace, love, and happiness when I think of Aquarius, but they're very much the light, fun, spiritual, free-flowing and communicative, sign that is all about peace, love, and happiness. And so at 0 degrees, that's really like, that's why this term and this notion of we are moving into the age of Aquarius is so vital after this year of all of this dense energy and this movement of within and pushing the boundaries and systems are kind of falling. And so it's a really great opportunity for us to that portal being open. And as Barbara will talk about as well, is just this portal is opening that we get to step through. And it's a time where we get to decide who we want to be on the other side of that portal.
So just so that people are not really kind of, we're not talking like a physical portal, obviously. We're talking more of a metaphoric, energetic. So just think about it, guys, in an essence of you walk into the place, just imagine in your mind, some place that when you go to, it's absolutely just peaceful, right? And you're just like, for a lot of us, it's nature. For some of us, it might be a Pier 1 store, who's to say, everybody's a little different, but wherever you go, it's peaceful. And why? Because you're allowing yourself to feel those wonderful emotions and feelings that are available to you at all times. And in essence, can we just say that these new energies are going to be available to us? And so in essence, it is like a portal or opening where we can therefore absorb these new energies. Regardless, we're all going to be affected by them, but as to what effect, what intensity, all depends upon the individual and where the focus is at.
Yeah, and that's where kind of Jupiter comes into play. Absolutely, is that it's this expansion into. So I think of the energies of December, as you were talking, kind of quieting things down, going within, and really having that conversation at the deepest level this year of who do I want to be and who do I want to be on the other side of this, and what is my purpose and what is my soul here to do. And that's what the Ascension is really asking us to do, is to raise our vibration. And so
awesome. Barbara?
With the closing down of the energies that we have been experiencing, it's kind of like a ceiling fan. I don't know if you guys can visualize this. Have you ever wanted to switch the switch on the ceiling fan where you want to push the air one way or the other? So you get up there and you push that switch. What happens? The ceiling fan could be going really fast, but then all of a sudden it slows way down and it stops before it starts again in the new cycle that you have set it to. And that's what we're experiencing now. We're all experiencing that reset, and it feels different for everyone. I know for me, I have gone quiet, a little bit dark, in terms of just shutting down, not expecting much, but you're right. The energies of December have been very soft. And I think from a practical standpoint, for everyone who has struggled in this past year, you have gotten glimpses of your higher self, things that you want to do, ideas and for your purpose. That has all come through. The veil got really thin, and we got to see ourselves in moments, in glimpses. Some maybe more than others. But what we're doing now is we're coming down to that very quiet 0 point place where all things become possible. And anything that you might have struggled with in the past year, that has no place going forward. You don't have to carry it. You don't have to bring it. You can just shrug your shoulders and say, everything's energy, and I'm going into that new Aquarian energy, and I'm going to love every single minute of it. Do what you want to do. Get your bucket list out. And one of the things that I do every year is I choose a word. I always have a word that I choose that sort of signifies what I want the year to feel like. So it's time to think about your word. I've had past years, one of my best words was fun. I wanted to have fun, do everything that was fun. And I made that my mission. So it's time for us to think about that new energy, that Jupiter energy, the age of Aquarius. Let go of all the things that no longer serve you, and really move in to doing the things that you love, things that you knew you did when you were a kid. They always say, what did you do when you were a kid? What did you love to do? I love to read. I love to write plays. I love to act out plays. Well, yeah, I'm a word girl. So I was all about that. What did you do? Figure it out. You've got the time, because this is it. You're coming down to the point where we're switching the fan, and you've got that time where it's sort of a void. Use it to your advantage. Have fun, be creative, let go of all of those big adult things, and just be simple. It's Christmas. Bake cookies, decorate the tree, do community work. Live your best and highest ideal of yourself. This is it. It's fun. It's like frolicking in the rain. Have fun with it.
Yeah, awesome. For some reason we just lost feed.
Yes, absolutely, Barbara.
Hang on. I think we've lost feed. Oh, there we are. Okay, sorry about that. Keep going, Kathleen. Sorry. I just want to make sure everybody can see you.
Kathleen, we want to talk about 0 point. I want to know more about 0 point, and you to explain it to everyone so that people can understand what that's all about.
Sure, absolutely. And just kind of to touch on what Amelia and Barbara both said. So, right, so the Saturn and Jupiter coming in, Saturn, like Amelia said, was being all the structures, and Jupiter being the freedom. So it's really, in effect, like the transition from the old king to the new king, right? Like the changing of the guards. And so with that being said, like, what does it mean on a personal level, the changing of the guards? Well, for myself and for my, people that I'm helping, and I think the planet wide, it's like, where in our lives or other lives have we had allegiance to other structures that we possibly aren't even aware of, right? So it's like, just really going into that place and releasing all those allegiance to old structures, releasing the allegiance to old belief systems, old thoughts, old emotions. But really, were you allegiance to the King Arthur Round Table? Or, I'm literally speaking of like, who did you have your loyalty to? Literally the Saturn going, Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, moving into the age of Aquarius, is literally the changing of the guards. So let's release those allegiances, subconscious and unconscious, and just allow ourselves to move forward. And that does bring us into 0 point also. So 0 point is really about like heart coherency. And so, we're moving into vertical time, which would mean that we don't have such an experience of past or future. Like that's more like a psychological time, which would be like maybe you have residual trauma that's keeping you in the past, or fear or anxiety of moving forward in the future. So that's kind of like where the mind plays out in time, right? And that brings it into a horizontal linear. What we want to do is bring everything into the moment of now. And that allows us to have the vertical time, which is the 0 point. And really what that means is it's heart coherency. And so like Barbara and Amelia were both talking about, we've got to let go, loosen the load, like really look at your life and figure out, like, where am I still in resistance? Where do I still have limitations? Where do I am still holding on to this? And, you know, let it go, write it out, burn it, let it go, just loosen the load. And as you do that, that brings you into heart coherency. So what that means is that you're then just focused on the moment of now. Nothing's pulling you here and nothing's pulling you there. And that is 0 point. And from that place, that's really where we can, you know, get the most out of these frequencies that are coming in. Is if we're just letting all the past go and having that heart coherency, then we can literally move into the new, like Barbara was talking about, move through that portal and just allow all of these frequencies to literally have the conscious reality shifting that's going on. I mean, right now, that, you know, this summer, the sun got recoded. It's literally bringing in light for a new reality. And so what that means is let go of all the old realities, bring it into the heart, and just let it go. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive all the players in your life. Forgive players you don't even know about. Forgive the global platform of players. Like, make zero judgment, like no judgment, all forgiveness. And that is going to support the heart coherency for yourself individually, collectively, so that we can all move forward with these new frequencies of conscious shifting. Absolutely. So I hope that kind of explains the 0 point. It's really about going in and looking at where you're still in resistance and just dropping the baggage and forgiving and letting, you know, right now we're going to move into a really huge heart activation.
Yeah, it's time to, it's really time to surrender.
Yes,
It's time to surrender all of your, whatever you're dragging in that trunk of yours. It's time to surrender, let it go. This morning I was reading a prayer. I love Kuan Yin, and she has a lot of very important information that I really resonate with. And one of the things she was saying to me today was that it's time to nourish. It's time to give yourself the you know, energies that you deserve. It's time, because we've all been through the war. And it's okay to nourish yourself. But one of the things she was really saying is, on a practical level, ask to cut the cords. Let the cords go. Let you know, think about the cords as your connection, your golden umbilical cord that's connecting you to all your past junk and your animosities and your anger and your fears and all these things. Just get out the big golden scissors and just go through and cut it all and let it float away like a helium balloon that's not tethered to you anymore. That's a very valuable thing. And we have to do that when we get to the point of surrender, because it's like I said, you've got to stop before you can start picking up again. And whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not, you're going to get your new energies. So you may as well get your closet cleaned up, or otherwise you can just be drug along and scrape and get yourself nicked up, and you'll come along eventually. But why don't you just act in a conscious way about it and get your energetic closet in order and enjoy the journey. It's a choice. Enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really what it's about, is enjoying energetically where you're going and understanding. That's why we're here today, is to explain it, to give you practical advice on what to do. And come along with us into this new energy, because it's going to be amazing. And anything you didn't think you could do, get ready. You're going to be doing it.
Absolutely. There's a couple points that were kind of brought that I really want to bring up to the surface from our speakers just now. One was ask, guys. There's so much help for you, but you must ask for that help. You can't just simply to say, I want to feel better. I just want a better life. No, how can my life get better? I would really like, you know, I need help to have me see more clarity. I need help to have me accept these new energies. Please help me to do this, whatever. Ask. And another
Surrender
one,
control.
surrender control. And a big one that Kathleen brought up was forgiveness. Yeah, we all, we've heard forgiveness throughout our whole entire life, forgive people, you're hanging on to the burden more than they are, chances are. But the number one person to forgive is yourself.
Yes.
Are we still on? Okay, for some reason my phone just went off. Is to forgive yourself. And then while everybody was talking, I heard Spirit talk to me about people that might be watching when it talked about letting go. Letting go of this year, letting go of what's going on, just really go ahead and just sit there like you're basking in the sun and you're ready for a yummy sun bath. I know Kathleen's smiling because she loves to take sun baths, and just really just take it in. It's the same thing with the energy. And I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, but you have no idea, the political stuff that's going on there and the world stuff that's going on there and the threats and the fears and your energy is out there. And that's not, and that's exact. No, I won't go there. That's not where it needs to be. It needs to be in here. You getting worried about this, that, and the other is not going to change it. You coming in here and finding your center, finding your heart, finding your joy, therefore getting in connection and alignment with who you truly are. There's where your power lies. There's where you're really going to make some major changes within your life, but also within the world. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. So those are the three things I really wanted to touch on with you guys. I mean, you guys are bringing some really awesome points here.
Yeah, and also, like you're saying, basically unplug, because lots of times that's scrambling you. So you're watching this platform or this dismantling or whatever's going on with zero judgment, but I'm saying that with zero judgment, but there's a scrambling effect going on regardless of that, what's coming in, the EMFs that are coming off, all that. And that's actually hindering the DNA from activating and really allowing us to ground these new realities. So it's really on a, physiological level of unplugging.
Yeah, I love that you said that, Kathleen, because I was just going to say, definitely, some practical things as you all were talking about the forgiveness. It reminds me, I'm doing a detox right now. And one of the things that I'm doing every day is saying, and I'm probably going to not get the words right, but it's the Ho'oponopo. It's an Hawaiian prayer. And it's really very simple. It's like 8 words. And it's basically, I forgive you. I love you. Thank you. I forgive you. I love you. And it's something that you can do on a daily, just words to remind yourself to not only do that. And as you were saying, unplug. And I love Barbara, your idea of clean up your spiritual closet. And I think you can take that to a practical level, like actually clean up your closet. I mean, your spiritual closet, your actual closet, your eating, and just really clear out so that when the energies come through and when you're ready, when they come to you, well, not when you, I don't know how to put this, but like you're talking about getting to 0 point, you're a clear vessel for these energies to come through. And that's really what's important right now, is to really get that access to be able to receive. And like you were saying, Kathleen, if that interference is always there, so the more you can clean up your space energetically, bioenergetically, spiritually, food wise, all of this kind of stuff will help so that you can increase that vibration, because those are these downloads that will be happening, now, but also moving forward. As Barbara was saying, it's going to happen anyway. So be clear on it, and you have to let go of the junk that you're carrying around, because it's not serving anybody, least of all you.
Yeah. I always look at it like a closet. When I have a client that comes to me and I listen to what they say, that I can always tell, number one, how big the closet is. And you can have a broom closet and it has a broom in it and a dustpan and all that other room. Or you could have a walk-in closet and it's so full of crap, you got no more room to put anything else in there. So we really need to look at that closet. And we'd love to have a larger closet, but you don't need it. You just need to make sure what you have has enough space in it by you getting rid of what isn't there and what you don't need, and then allow that space to be filled with the things that are of service to you, not what is not of service anymore.
Yeah.
And since we're getting this Yeah, get these new energies that are coming in, get that closet cleaned out. And it really is about you. It's about you getting out of your own way and forget about anything else. But it is about a practice of being in the moment, present in the moment, and just enjoying whatever it is you're doing in the moment. We are done multitasking.
Yeah.
We are done looking ahead and looking behind and trying to juggle all these things. We are not puppet masters anymore. We are true spiritual beings that are going to be thinking in the moment and really enjoying what we are looking at. And what that really sounds like and looks like is living the life that you have always dreamed to live, that you know you're here to do. And we talked about the divine soul blueprint. You figured it out before you came, and now you're here living it. We'll get busy. Just get busy.
Yeah, absolutely, Barbara. And, it's like you might be having fear, like maybe I didn't, maybe I'm not prepared enough. Maybe I didn't do this or didn't do that. We have been preparing for lifetimes.
Yes.
So we are right exactly where you're supposed to be,
Yes.
We've been doing it. We have all kinds of preparations. So as far as thinking that we're not where you're supposed to be, or you haven't done what you're supposed to do, or you, etc., lifetimes of preparation, just release, let go, surrender, and focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. Right now, the time is quickening so much. So you're clearing out the closet, like Barbara said, and then, thoughts and emotions are manifesting so fast. Everything's quickening. So make sure you have that cleared out. Know that you've been doing this, preparation for a really long time, and just sit back and enjoy the ride, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We as sovereign beings, guys, our number one focus is finding joy in every single moment. If you're in joy, if you are in joy, right? You are in love, you are in alignment, and you're going to be inspired. You're going to be full of energy. You're never going to be depleted. There is no such word as LACK in that alignment at all, ever. And I know, Barbie, you want to say something. I want to move on to another topic that Spirit just told me.
Yeah, this is not about being in lack anymore. It's about truly being in abundance. And one of the things that we have to do is let go of judgment, because we have a lot of judgment. Like we'll see things and, oh, look at that. That's so bad. Or, oh, why did I do that? That was so stupid. You know what? That extra stuff that people want to tack on personally, I mean, your own self, where you think about something and rather than just observe, what you say is, okay, wow, all right, observe. No more story. You're not going to add anything more to it. You're not going to blame anything. You're not going to do anything that has to do with making that into a firestorm, because it's a waste of time. All you are is here to experience yourself, to have joy in what you do, to be who you're supposed to be. That's it. And that's not a bad thing. That's where we have prepared ourselves. Oh my gosh, I cannot say. I mean, honestly, we have been preparing ourselves for this for a very long time. Jump in the pool. It's good. It's good.
Thank you. So guys, a while ago, while everybody was talking, I just love this. So I want everybody to think about pregnancy. Now, most women, no, I shouldn't say most women, a lot of women who have had babies knows exactly what going through the pregnancy looks like. For the first trimester, you're nauseated. You're just, everything's kind of like, you don't really care for it. Your kind of life is a little bit changing. The second trimester, you're kind of getting used to it. Things are getting a little heavier, but you're kind of making okay with your environment. By the third trimester, things get really uncomfortable, right? When did we first come into this mandate? 9 months ago. We have been birthing ourselves this whole time. And right now we're getting a little more squeezed, right? Because we're coming through the birth canal. And what's going to happen on the 21st? Amelia?
We're going to be born again. Reborn. In
Reborn.
in a non-secular way. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a great analogy. I never thought of that, but that was like, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, literally it was 9 months ago that we went into this whole mandate thing. And how interesting, if you take it down into the trimesters, how it really has, followed the actual birthing of a human. But this time we're not birthing a human, guys. We're birthing us.
Souls.
Yes.
Yes.
We're coming forth.
Yeah,
Go
into
ahead,
soul
Kathleen.
light. We definitely are into soul light, right, Kathleen? I mean, we are
Yes.
getting to see the brilliance of our soul. We have practiced for this for a long time. Everyone has, whether they know it or not.
Right. It's veil lifting. So the thing of it is the planet's magnetics are changing, and veils are held in place by magnetics. So as the planetary magnetics are shifting, so are the veils. So it's literally the physics of veils lifting. And what that means is, there's been a new earth being anchored in here since 2012. There's been new realities. There's been new ways to do things, but they have been a little bit behind the veils, more in the etheric aspect. Now the veils will be lifting literally due to the magnetic shifting. Veils will lift. We'll see the new earth. We get to physicalize it. So yeah, absolutely, the soul light coming in and just letting it, upgrade yourself, up level.
Yeah, you've always been who you've been. You've always been who you've been. So stop, pretending and doing things that you don't want to do, and really start looking at yourself and just say, I claim this. This is me. I know it's me. It's been me for every life I've ever had a soul. It's been me, and you need to own it now. Now's the time where you own it. But it's fun. This is about you really meeting you waking up to I never really liked doing that. Why do I do that? You don't do that anymore. Do what you know you're going to do. That's where the veils, when they get thin, they really show you who you really are. Some of you are waking up and meeting yourself for the first time. Congratulations. This is all good.
You will absolutely see who you truly are. That is exactly what's happening.
And the new earth, guys, sorry. And the new earth, everyone is not like saying, I mean, there's been a lot of conjunction and people saying a lot of things out there in the world. And we're not talking like a physical new body that we're going to see and we're going to jump onto. No, energetically, it's being birthed from within, where all the energies that used to be 10 years ago or 20 years ago are fading away because they're basically being overshadowed by the new energy. And it's just like, again, you can be in a really crappy mood and really sad and lonely, and all of a sudden all your best friends and your favorite loved ones come in the house and like, we're here and we just love you, and you're like, ah, right, you're all just excited and happy, and all of a sudden you went from that really low place to a really high place. And it's the same thing as what's being provided for us on the new earth, is what we're calling it. Absolutely.
And there's a lot of chaos out there right now because this is happening, and people who may not be quite as awake or quite as aware energetically of what that transition is, you can see them. They're struggling, they're acting out, they're doing negative things, they're still trying to hold on to the old paradigm. And that's eventually just going to float away. There's nothing you have to do. You can watch it and just observe it, no comment on it, but it's just how it is. And sometimes I see someone and they're doing something that's obviously not of the love, light, peace, and harmony where we're all headed. And you look at it and you think, okay, that person is going to have to wake up a little bit more. Maybe they choose to do that in this lifetime, but then maybe they don't. And that's not a judgment. It's okay, one way or another. But those of you who are attracted to us and you are listening to us, you are awake and you are going where we are going and where we have been going for a long time. So welcome aboard. And this is a good process. And it's great that we're here to talk about the reality of it. That's really what it is that you're not going crazy. What you're thinking and those visions that flash before your eyes and people's faces, and knowing that you've been someplace and you've done something, that's all what's supposed to be happening now. You're not going crazy. And there's a lot of joy in it too, because all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, I'm okay here. I'm good with me. I like me. And I'm good with what I am. And that's a really powerful thing that's happening.
And in the moment also, in the moment of anyone's stuff coming up, just self-correct. in the past, maybe you dwelled and analyzed and why and felt bad. No, in the moment of catching a thought that might not be the highest frequency, oh, thank you. And you just self-correct. You just self-correct in that moment over and over and over, whatever it takes. There's no more, beating yourself up or anything like that. You just, oh, that was out of alignment. Thank you so much. And you just bring it right back and self-correct as you move forward.
Yeah. Without any judgment, guys. I mean,
right.
I can guarantee you, all four of us, we step off our path throughout the day and we're like, oh, all right, whatever. It was I acknowledge, I see that, I stepped off, whatever, step back on. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
No judgment, no labeling, no nothing, just being observant to it. Something I wanted to step on or go back to Barbara about, which is when you do observe those people out there that are very much in anger or are really acting out on behalf of a whole body of energy that's rather negative and rather dark. Again, like Barbara said, just let it go, just observe it, witness it, don't engage with it, still hold your peace of love and joy and tranquility, et cetera, et cetera. But also acknowledge that, sorry, things keep coming up on my computer. Also acknowledge that they're also there burning through and bringing to light the anger, the darkness, the frustration, the rage, the being told what to do because they don't know what else to do. And just, okay, so this is happening, and just, have trust and faith that this is going to be okay. What you need to be responsible for is right here. Your heart, your alignment, your joy.
Right. Stuff comes up for a lot of people right now. Anger, sadness, fear. That's all part of getting the closet cleaned out, because you have all that stuff stuck in there on those shelves, and you've got the broom in there and it's rising up and you feel it. The other thing too is the death of the mind and the ego. We don't think things anymore. As I don't know how to say this. I might need some help here. I was a big thinker. I was a lawyer. So of course, everything was well thought out. And thinking takes you on a journey sometimes, but really the journey is about the heart and understanding the emotions. So we have really stepped away from the thinking through of things and more into the feeling through of things. That's been one of the biggest changes. And that's not something that people are as comfortable with. They're still comfortable with thinking through. And maybe you guys can want to talk about that to give some more background. I know that a lot of my clients struggle with, they mentalize everything still. That's actually drying up. We are really about our hearts. It's about feeling first. How do I feel about this? Not what do I think about this?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know what you guys...
absolutely all about feeling. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the 0 point and the linear time. The thinking is what allows that linear time structure to stay in effect. And so, yeah, it's about letting that go, being in the heart and feeling. Just like you said, it's all about the feeling and no thinking. Amelia?
It's taking direction from the heart. Yes.
Right, absolutely.
Amelia, I saw that you wanted to, there you go.
Yeah, I was, what came to mind is in my breathwork course we're looking at the quantum fields and really how we are each our own little quantum energy ball. And as you step away and as you're watching all the other things happening that may be negative, that, just don't entangle with them and just don't enmesh with them and just, protect yourself. But one of the things that I love that a kind of something that I've learned recently is an idea of benevolent neutrality. And this concept is really just exactly what it sounds like, benevolent neutrality. So there is no judgment, and it's not that you don't care, that you don't have empathy. It's just that it's neutral, and that you're stepping out and you're looking at others that may be going through a tough time without engaging and enmeshing with them. You can stand back, take a deep breath, have benevolent neutrality. And that's what brings you into your heart center. And that's what gets you in alignment with the higher source and the present and all of that. So it's giving me goosebumps right now, because everybody's conversations are always, as always, we do this together, but as the, you know, our little pockets of information just kind of bring to light this notion of, it's really about being present for me, and the things that you can do to be more present. And when you are more present in your heart centered, you're less likely to get agitated or get anxious or get upset. And if you do, acknowledge it, like you said, and have benevolent neutrality for yourself, you know, just be like, oh, okay, what was that? Or why did I do that? Without judgment, without like, you should do this or you shouldn't do that. And, you know, we've
compassion.
Exactly.
Compassionate.
Yeah. It's funny, because that was my word from like, you were talking about words. That was the word in like, when I went through my 1-year coaching program, my purpose word is compassion. And it really is about that. And I love that, because it's like, the more we can do that with one another, the freer
and ourselves.
That's where the freedom comes. That's where, if you think about what freedom means, at least that's what it means to me, is this underlying sense of, I'm not tied to anything, but yet I'm not of this world, but I'm in this world, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I call it, so the same kind of thing. I call it divine neutrality.
Yeah.
Benevolent neutrality is a great also phrase that really brings up like the practical aspect of what it is. So the divine neutrality brings you into the heart. And we also have to remember that, you know, clemency is a really big thing. Like I was kind of speaking of earlier, it's like, you know, we have no idea what players have actually signed up for to help this shift.
Right.
So that you can, when you really, if you're having problems with judging players that you think are doing nefarious things, remember clemency. You know, we don't have any idea what the higher realms are, what they signed up for in order to help us go through this birthing canal and this compression moving into the new earth. So keep that in mind. I think is helpful.
Right.
That's a great point. Yeah, because it's like, you know, I always think of it in terms of light and dark too. It's like we wouldn't know the light without the dark. So again, those players and those activities and the things that we are experiencing are helping us, and they're moving us forward. Something's got to push us forward. You know, most people wouldn't change without it. So something's good. Something's got to be back there going, okay, go.
Yeah, it's always darkest. When they say it's always darkest before the dawn.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. And guys, when it comes to those of you who are like, you got to be kidding me. You want me to go to the heart, but I'm in my head. I'm in my head all the time. My head's always busy. I just can't do it. Or like when I meditate, I can't be quiet. It's like, don't again be hard on yourself. Relax. You just have to go from moment to moment to moment. Instead of looking at the world through your eyes, telling you, having and believing that what your eyes show you is truth is not truth. Okay. So work on retraining yourself. And all it is practice. It's just practice. It's all it is just practice, creating new habits. And the more you practice going, okay, just because I see that and my brain registers as this, because I'm letting you know right now, guys, your eyes actually take in something like 50 billion pixels of light and information per second. Your brain only registers like, I think 20 million. That's it. Just think of all the other information that's going on that you don't even see. So you can't really register. You can't really base your life on what you see as being truth. So instead, you go ahead and you start working on this heart. And good breathing work, you know, talking about what Amelia is talking about, is going into your heart. Just imagine going down to your actual heart, and every time you exhale, getting it bigger and getting it bigger and getting it until basically it's encompassing the whole world. And work on feeling others, feeling situations through your heart. It's just a practice. We've been trained and programmed to go through here, right? Or through here. It's time to come through the heart. The heart has way more nerve endings, way more nerve endings than the brain ever does. In fact, the heart tells the brain what to do, not the other way around. We just kind of got it backwards a long time ago, and it's time to revert back to the old ways. I want to address and have us all address a question that came across earlier. Said, what steps can we take to make sure that we are ready for all this? And I'm just going to say one thing and let the gals take it over, which is don't ever think for a second that you're missing the boat. You are never, ever missing the boat. You are right where exactly you need. Let's take off with that topic.
Yeah, you're in the right place at the right time. There's nothing to do. You just have to be present, be in the moment. Just ask. I mean, one of the times I always ask every day, what do I need to know today? And I want whoever it is energetically who's in my guide team and out there in the world to help me. I always ask, what do I need to know about this? What's really going on here? And you have to listen. I mean, one of the biggest things is just open up your ears, your spiritual ears, and start to listen. There's a lot of whispering going on that you may not be aware of because you got that monkey mind constantly processing whatever it is you think you're thinking. But you need to come to a point where you just say, what is it that I need to know? And be open to listening, because that's where you really can find some of the things. But I'm telling you, everyone who's here right now is ready. You're going to come with everyone else, whether you know all this stuff or not. And I think that's one of the things that gets people most off the rails, is they think they don't know enough about the stuff that we're talking about today. And you know something, you're okay. You're going to do it. There's, those of us like who are here today, we're here to light the lights of others and to wake up, to give you things to think about. But the reality is you are right in the right place at the right time. Do not worry about it.
And I would say you already know what
Yes.
you need to know and what needs to be done. So practically speaking, it can feel overwhelming. Acknowledge it. If you're sad, acknowledge it. And as you were saying, Wendy, it really is about focusing on your breath. I mean, that's the single most thing I found to be super powerful, is because your breath, when you do that, you pause. And it's really about taking a pause, and then and it does change your brain chemistry, and it does change your gets you out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight and flight, and gets you into your parasympathetic, which is relaxation. And, and that's where we want to go move into. So just take a breath, take a pause before you react, engage, whatever, and know, like believe, as my sign behind me says, that it's all good. Nothing is, you're safe, and know that you're safe. And if you don't feel safe, reach out to someone that you can have a conversation with, or that you can ask for that and guidance on how to feel safe. Because when your body feels safe and your mind feels safe, you will be okay.
Yes, I agree with all of those, and especially the safety is a really great thing. If we feel safe, then that's going to allow us to be in the heart and breathe a lot more. So right, I agree. It's like, we're all in the right time, right place, divine timing. So just trust that. It's just allowing that knowingness to just really cascade over you. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Have trust of it and love yourself. So love yourself through it. Love yourself on music, put on the song, right time, right place, and dance. Put on the Age of Aquarius and just love yourself, be really nurturing, and just trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to be.
Awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. I when Amelia was talking, what I was being told, guys, is that most of the time, like Amelia said, you know what you're supposed to do. You already know. It's that little voice that's in the back of the head that says, you're tired, go lay down. No, I'm going to keep going through my papers because I have to get my bills done. Little voice says, let's just go sit down and put on some headphones, listen to some nice music, and just relax. No, I want to go out and I have to take my dog for a walk. It's the bigger voice that overshadows that little voice that's really trying hard to get your attention. That's the voice that wants to come forward and say, honor you, listen to you, align with who you are, be in your heart, find your joy. What do you want to do? I can guarantee majority of the population, if you ask that question, what do you want? Most people won't even be able to answer it because they're so busy in that bigger voice. They're not being quiet enough to hear that smaller voice saying, I really want to paint. That's my joy. And bringing some beautiful masterpieces to the world just enlightens everybody. Got to take the time to listen to that little voice. So therefore, you know exactly who you are, and where you need to be.
Mhm. One of the things I read recently, which is really powerful, could give our listeners an interesting dynamic, is when you're feeling so scattered and out of alignment, really, it's like, just sit down. And I know people say, I can't meditate. And it's like, okay, I get you. But here's the thing. If you want to focus on something, pick a word, say, so relax. Let's say relax. So what the example was, on the inhale, you say the word relax, but on the exhale, you say your name. So it would be like, breathe in, relax, breathe out, Barbara. And just doing that simple little process, and since breath work is so important, that will reset if you do that. If whatever it is you think, just choose a really great word and then make sure that you say your name on the exhale, because that'll bring you right back down into reality fast.
Yeah, that's kind of like reprogramming yourself is what you're really doing. Because in truth, guys, you got to think about, you've had decades where you've told yourself to be busy. It's really good to be busy. And so that is a really awesome tool and technique to be not busy, just be. Right? And telling your brain it's okay to relax. I give you permission to relax. I give you permission to stop thinking. I'm telling you, you're safe.
And by giving those two words, you're keeping that busy brain, occupied.
Yep.
Yeah. So that you can actually get back to that 0 point place where you can then really see and feel and know, because that's the problem. It's all covered up, that knowingness that we all have, that clarity we all have, covered up in the cat box by too much other stuff, So we've got to really get back to
Barbara,
that.
I love all your analogies. You crack me up.
It's like,
We got
brooms,
that's a good one. Closets, we got cat boxes. I mean, you're speaking my language because I have all of those.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Right. I just saw the little kitty just like scratching.
I know, I did too. I have 3 of them, so I'm like, oh, I know that one.
I was thinking of the shiz that's underneath, that's on top, that's all we see. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
It's true.
Barbara. Yeah,
That's so great.
that was beautiful. So how about if we come across and share with people, I mean, we do know that right now it's kind of softness and we're just kind of like just being, we're getting to that 0 point, just like that fan that Barbara mentioned earlier. And that 0 point is going to be December 21st. I'm going to presume, right, Amelia? And then it's going to turn around and go basically a different direction, because we're going to be in complete different energies, different electromagnetic frequencies are going to come at us. That's why we're going to feel and be different. But what do you feel are some things that you can suggest to our audience as far as what can you do to traverse this time a bit smoother and continue into, I should say, the new year? I mean, whatever habits we address now, obviously are habits we're going to carry on. So what are some good habits do you feel that we could share with our audience?
One thing that's going to be really fantastic is as the photon encoded light comes in, our habits are going to naturally start shifting because the perception will shift. So you'll notice that you actually want to change your diet, or you want to give up that old habit. You start feeling different. So it's really, you're really being supported to shift that with the light that's coming in. The light that's coming in is literally source encoded. And so wherever we're not necessarily in the highest frequency, it's going to move that and shift that habit. So you can get ahead of the game. And, we were talking off screen before we started and doing detoxes. Amelia's in one right now. I just did one last week. So, I really like water fasting. And if you're not unfamiliar with it, you just start with 1 day. Just get really purified water. You can infuse it with really nice vibration, and you just be and you drink water. That starts to reset your DNA. If you're able to do it for 3 days, you're going to get a full DNA reset. And what that'll do is when you do the reset, it'll allow those habits to go away. So when you start back up on the 4th day, maybe you're not going to reach for that coffee because you feel so clean and differently and you're perceiving things. So I think it's about just giving yourself that space to detox, to be healthier, and just kind of look at, it doesn't have to be a huge, like, I'm going to get rid of this, this, and that. Just choose one thing that will help you shift. And then, as I say, allow that light to support you as it moves through you to shift the other things.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you're right. And yeah, because I actually started up what was it, Monday? I know Barbara's in with me and supporting it, which is decrease in inflammation, removing those foods. And then next week, we're going to go into decrease in allergen. And next one, we're going to a vegan diet, live diet. And, you know, I remember talking with Kathaleen on the 1st of December, and she's like, I'm starting a water diet. And I'm like, whoa. And it didn't hit me till the 2nd day of December, where I was like, but I mean, literally, and again, guys, you'll know it, or if you want to, you can instill it sooner. But I was like, okay, time to clear up the diet right now, right here. Let's do it. And just like that, I was able to remove foods out of my diet, and I probably be doing the fast later on this month. But yeah, and I know Barbara, she's a healthy eater, very clean in general as it is. Barbie, you have any ideas of what to share with our audience?
Yeah, stop saying no to yourself, because we say no to ourselves far too much. It's time to allow ourselves to manifest what we want. And if you don't understand about manifestation, it's just about you saying, I really want this. To be very clear, I know I want this. And to know that what you want, you can have. The universe may deliver it differently. In other words, you have to be open to understanding that if you say, you know, for instance, that you want to have a healthier and body and weigh less, then stop saying no and stop villainizing your food and stop doing all of the things that are stopping you. Just be joyous about it. What do you love to eat? Eat what you love to eat. And I'm not talking about sugar and marshmallows, because we know that that's not nutritious. But, you know, you may have a long time ago figured out that there's some things that you want to change. Say yes. Say yes to the changes. Don't hold back on that. If you don't want to eat meat anymore, I woke up 3 years ago. I didn't want to eat meat anymore. So I stopped. And I don't care what people say. And I have a family that, you know, are carnivores, being, you know, but it doesn't matter, because to me, I gave myself permission. Stop saying no to yourself. There's lots of things out there that you have long wanted to do. And now is the time. Get your bucket list out and really be clear about what those things are. And just go for it. Give yourself permission.
Awesome. Amelia?
I think everything that we've talked about so far, the little tidbits, of course, I go back to the breath, but as you were all talking, what was really resonating for me and coming through to me is this notion of holding ourselves accountable. And we are accountable to ourselves. And because I constantly hear from clients and people that I don't have enough time. Well, I can't do that. I don't have enough time. I can't meditate. I don't have enough time. And as we were talking, time is no longer linear. It's vertical. And so, yes, you do have time. And that is time. I don't have enough time is an excuse. And you have been using that backdoor excuse for so long. So it's just time to drop that one and commit or don't commit. You know,
it's also mentality of lack.
That's what exactly. Yeah. It's like, I don't, you know,
stuck.
Yeah. So I think it's really this notion of you do have time and you do have, you know, like you were saying, Barbara, say yes to yourself, and yes, you can have it. And I realize that there are things in the world that are practical that you need to do, but I guarantee you can find 5 minutes to sit and breathe. And I can guarantee you can decide not to eat that meat if that's what you've decided. It's changing your outlook and taking responsibility for your outcomes and being responsible.
Awesome.
My soapbox for a minute. Sorry, I felt a little passionate about that all of a sudden.
That's beautiful. So what I'd like to share is back about, gosh, I want to say 20 years ago. I'm sure most of you remember this, but they held a study and they did a worldwide meditation and for about an hour to 3 hours amount of time. And they found out while we had the focus of peace and love during those 3 hours, they actually had quantifiable information that they could statistically, you know, graph, and violence reduced overall arrests and violent activity in Washington, D.C., which is the most supposedly violent place in the United States, reduced like 30%. Wars literally ceased to fire during that time. I mean, and the evidence is all over the globe of how everything literally just quieted down during those 3 hours of meditation. So if you think about, if our focus is that strong and that potent to affect every individual on this planet, to change organizations, situations, thought fan beliefs, that, you know, we're at war. Guess what? We're not at war right now. Things that seem so big that you can't affect, but yet it did affect it and it did change it, right? Now let's think about the opposite. What if our focus is on fear, frustration, oppression, depression, no choice, lack of, you know, where we want to run away because all these things that are being spouted that are meant to create fear in us, because if we feel fear, our energy goes down. We're not up there in our high vibrational space, right, of creation. Then it's going to create that world. It's going to create more violence. It's going to create more wars. It's going to create more things that nobody wants, right? So your focus is yours. It's your power. It's your superpower, is your focus. Where you choose to put it is all up to you. You can choose to put it on, as Kathleen said, as, you know, what you're watching from TV, that's your choice, and you want to watch it be programmed, fine, but know that you're responsible for giving more energy to the negativity out there. But you can also take that choice, that focus, and again, put it to joy, put it to love, put it to seeing the beauty in the world. The world is so full of much beauty, guys. Just take your focus and change it. Turn it around. Find you, find your love, find your connection to with who you really are. You can do that through meditation, guided meditation, taking walks in the woods, being in the nature. It's the best way to do it. You know, there's so many other things that you can do too. Reach out to any one of us. We're here for you. But that originally was going to be my end, but Spirit's saying all of these things are great and they're here to help you up to the 0 point. But what can you expect after 0 point? What can we do after December 21st? What can we do as we're looking into our future, into January, and in a new world of 2021? So for you lovely ladies who have seen the stars and heard different things, I mean, I've heard energetically, it's like, I mean, probably because it's starting on December 21st, right? We're literally turning over a whole new leaf of possibilities, right? So you guys want to talk about a little bit of that before we go on?
I wanted to kind of dovetail on what you said too, Wendy, about the fear versus the love. I work a lot with torus fields, and those are, you know, the big, huge ley lines of all your energy system, and they're going up and down, and they're really big. And when you have one in the heart and then one around your body. And so when you're in love, that is full blown. It's going all the way up to source, all the way down to earth. And it's just moving all the energy up and down, and everything's yummy and juicy. When you move into lower vibrational feelings, you know, guilt, shame, fear, it's literally the whole entire torus field just shrinks to like right here. It no longer goes down into the earth, and it no longer goes up. And so they've literally captured this on film where they can see that it just shrinks right up. So just, you know, and you can feel that in your body somatically when you're having those lower vibrational feelings too. So just really remember to open that heart and breathe and really let that torus field be expansive. So I think moving forward, it's do the uncommon, you know. Everything's going to be flipped. So whatever you would normally do, stop, take a breath. Like we've been talking a lot about breath work. Take that breath, and what would the new me do? What would the young innocent child do? And just do the uncommon, and just have fun. You know, skip through the tulips. Just have fun expressing in any form or medium, whatever it is. Just singing. You know, just exactly opposite of what you would normally do. And I think you're going to be doing great.
I love that. Do the uncommon. Love it.
I love that. I think that's where we should stop it right here. We're going to do the uncommon. I think it gives a person a guidepost
Yeah.
because it gives you your permission. Do the
Mhm.
uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what's right for you. Love you guys.
Mhm.
So thank you, ladies, for joining me once again. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be in your presence. Everybody have a fantastic holiday. Make it the best, regardless of what that looks like with whatever parameters. You make it the best, happy, most joyful, most loving holidays all the way through into the new year. And we will definitely be back here in January talking with you again. If any one of us resonates with you, where you're like, oh, I want to talk to her more, we are all, each and every one of us, here and available for you to reach out to and to talk with. So I linked everybody's, actually I tagged everybody in the up above post, but I will put in everyone's link in as far as how do you actually get to their page after this has been loaded up. Other than that, I thank you again very much, guys, and God bless you. Thank you, ladies. Any closing thoughts? Are all good?
Thank you.
All right.
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much,
Thank
ladies.
you. Thank you very much, Wendy. Happy
Thank
holidays,
you,
everyone.
Wendy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
talk with-
holidays. Bye.
Happy
Talk with you guys later. Bye-bye.